Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be looking at all of my collab palettes. And by collab, I mean with like influencers, because obviously ColourPop has done Star Wars collabs and a various number of other type of collabs, but these are all influencer collabs. So I'm going to show you all the palettes that I have. I'll swatch my favorite shade from each one. So if that sounds interesting, stick around. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. And let's jump into the video. Okay, first off, I want to say welcome if you are new. Again, make sure you subscribe if you're not. And if you're not new, I appreciate you coming back. So let's jump in. I have quite a stack here. I actually forgot about 3 last night when I was pulling these out for this video. So we'll start off. I'll put them right there and then we'll slowly, there's a hair. We'll slowly get through that. So the first one is I Love Sarah E, and it's with Dose of Colors. It's just a little 6-pan. I've almost decluttered this a couple of times, but I have actually traveled with this, so I think that's why I've kept it. You've got a cool like black sequence shade, but the main shade that I really like in here is the green one, and I don't know, there's no names. Oh, they're on the back. This is in Palm. I was going to say Sun Glow. That doesn't sound right. Palm. It's just really, really pretty. Okay, and then we have another. She did another collab, this time with ColourPop, and this is Through My Eyes. She must like greens. I don't know anything about this creator. I bought the palettes because I liked them. And again, I really like the green that's in this one, so we will just swatch. This is in Emerald Dream. It's definitely a little bit of a brighter. The one from Dose of Colors has a little more of a blue base to it, but they're both very, very pretty. The other Dose of Colors palette that I have is the Desi and Katie Friendcation palette. This is definitely older, but mine still performs really well. The shade that's always drawn me in is this bright blue up here, which I've actually had to repress. My dog got a hold of this one day. If you've been on my channel before, you've heard this story. And I actually like scraped it off the bed and repressed the shadow. So I was able to save it. It was, you know, my favorite shadow in the palette, and I have like weird OCD, so I didn't want to lose a pan. And this is in, I don't know what shade. I think it's Basic is the name of that blue. Still very, very pretty. Even though this is older, I do still use it. I have traveled with it. I don't travel with it often. Like if I know I'm going on the plane, I wouldn't take this just because this isn't pressed in as hard as the others, but the palette still works. Then we have Makeup Revolution. I have the 3 Soph palettes. I had a couple from Tammy X, but I decluttered those. I still have them in the house, but I'm not going to show them because they're not technically in my collection anymore. But I have all of the Soph palettes. So let's do them in order since I have them together. So the original Soph X. This one I've only used a couple of times, but the shade that I've used the most is the green. So let's just, I do like a good green. My palette still works. There's nothing wrong with it. I think that one is discontinued, but I have still seen it on like Poshmark. So there's that green. See, then we have the Extra Spice, which I think was her most popular out of the 3. And then the shade that I've used a lot in this palette would be like Vitamin C and Sweet and Sour. These 2 mattes actually. And I've used a couple of the shimmers. You can see there are some dips, but I haven't used this palette a lot. So let's just do Sweet and Sour. They still feel really soft, really nice. I will say the black that's in here is not the best black ever, but I have gotten some really nice looks. That's just one swipe. And then we have Just says Soph X Shadow. So I don't, Super Spice. I was going to say, I don't know what this is called. The Super Spice palette. I think I only used this once. Looks like I used a pink and a purple in the Dreamy shade. So we'll swatch Dreamy, which is a duochrome. Very, very soft, so I don't want to dig in here super hard. There it is right there. It looks like I used the lavender too. Maybe a pinch of the white. Yeah, I think I only used this once when I first got it. I remember the formula not being as good on some of the shades. Like that lavender shade that's in there does not perform super well as the extra spicy, but there's the Dream shade right there. And that is a really pretty color. Okay, so I'm going to scooch these over. So now we're moving into the Club Nebula. This is Angelica Nyquist's collab with Kaleidos. And I only used this a few times too. I used Astro and Nova, and then I think I went into some of the greens. And that's it. I really have not used this a lot. It came out at a time where I didn't use it right away, and then there was other stuff that came out. This is the shade Astro. And I don't know, it just didn't get a ton of use. So there's Astro right there. Very, very pretty. Again, kind of a duochrome. It's got a gray base. Then we have one I pulled. I haven't actually used this. We will swatch a shade. This is the Be Perfect. This is one of the Stacey Marie palettes. So I don't know if you would consider these collab palettes or not, or if she's just created these like offshoot under Be Perfect. Because these are, the Carnival palettes are all permanent, but because it's Stacey Marie, I figured I would pull it just in case. I'm going to do Rose Pink. There's a bunch of pretty shimmers in here, but there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shimmers, and then the rest are mattes. So there's that pink shade. That's really pretty. So there's that right there. And then I have 4 from Odin's Eye. So we have the Flora Story palette. I haven't used this yet. This is one of their newest collabs. I've swatched Magnolia, which is this purple shade. I, again, haven't used it. I'm going to do Dawn. This looks like an iridescent, kind of multi-chrome. More of like a toppery shade. It's right there. I don't know if you can see it. Really very, very pretty and sparkly in person. We have the Sea Talk palette. I'm gonna swatch Smoky Pearl is the one that I've swatched already that I really like. There it is right there. That one from Be Perfect is very flaky. So there's Smoky Pearl. And then we have the Planet Spirit palette. And I'm going to do Fauna again. This looks like it's an iridescent multi-chrome. More of a pink shift. This one definitely has the green shift. Definitely could probably use those as highlighters if you're fair, like I am. And then I have Angelica Nyquist's the Hella palette. Hella. One of my favorite shades is River and actually Soot. It's a really interesting matte, but we'll swatch River. I think this one's considered a multi-chrome. I know multi-chrome is more than one shift. It definitely duochrome-y, very, very pretty. And then the inside of that. Okay, in the last little stack, we have the Me, Myself, and Mitchell by Beauty Bay. This has been discontinued, but you've got the warm side and the cool side. One of the shades that I really like is in Mega. It's this really pretty purple with a bunch of different, it's a purple metallic with a bunch of different sparkle in it. Very, very pretty. Similar to that blue shade up there from the Club Nebula. Then we have Carly Bible's palette from ABH. I really liked this palette. Not everybody did. One of my favorite shades, again, is a blue with multi-colored glitter in OA. You can kind of see shades that I gravitate towards, similar tones. And then we have the Jackie Aina palette. These came out one right after another. I'm gonna do Sponsored, which is a very typical duochrome. It's that, you know, kind of brown shifting, but it's very, very pretty. Right there. And this is another one. This is the Wheelie Living My Best Life by Lottie London. I think you can still get this. I had a hard time hunting this down because Lottie London is a UK brand. I finally got a hold of it. Made by Missa, uses this a lot. She is here on YouTube. I'll try and link her down below. I'm just going to swatch Gemini just because I finally got it. It took 6 months hunting it down, and then I've never actually used it on my face. So there's the pink right there. Dream Street and Kathleen Lights by ColourPop. I don't know what this shade is called. We're going to swatch this one down in here, and this, again, is duochrome. It's got a little, it's a champagne with a little bit of almost a blue shift to it. It's still very pretty. Then we have Kathleen Lights and ColourPop, the Zodiac palette. My favorite shade, if you've been around here for a while, is the Gemini. For a long time, I didn't have like a true cool tone gold like this. I do have a liquid eyeshadow from an indie brand that looks almost exactly like tonally like this, but still very, very pretty. And then the last two are from Shroud. I went ahead and took them out of the box. So we have the two Baddie Bean collabs with Shroud. So here's the first one. And I got mine when she was still Butte Bean. This is what it looks like. I'm gonna swatch the shade 0. It's a lavender with like a blue green shift. It's very, very pretty. I'll put it over here. There is that. And then the other one she did this past Halloween, so it's a Halloween palette. And this one I have not used yet, but I'm gonna swatch Black Flame. It's a multi-chrome, very, very interesting. It's got, you know, the yellow to the plum to the green shift. Super pretty. I like multi-chromes with this kind of a shift. Very, very soft, very, very interesting. So there is that. Okay, so that was all of my collab palettes with my favorite shades swatched. Hopefully this video was interesting. Let me know what you guys thought. Again, thank you guys so much for sitting and hanging out with me. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and hopefully I will see you in another video very, very soon. Bye, everybody.